All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose,
What up?
and the guest himself, Michael Angelo. Acting 101. In this episode, we have special guest Michael Angelo. We are here to cover topics that range from auditions, landing roles, improv, role preparation, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Napoleon Hill and Tony Robbins. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, Mick, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys. My pleasure.
Definitely. So for those of you who do not know, Mr. Angelo, let us know who you are and what you do.
All right. So I'm Michael Angelo. I go by Mick, born and raised in Bristol. Right now I'm actually transitioning to a new career of teaching.
Nice.
So I'm substituting at the high school, Bristol High.
Nice.
I'm also taking classes towards my certification.
Awesome.
So by the end of next year, I'll be certified. Hopefully I can land a full-time gig.
Awesome.
I also coach varsity softball in the Chamonix with Dave Ciccoletti, my buddy.
Nice.
So as soon as I started subbing, he brought me on, and I'm having fun with that. I played baseball my whole life, so coaching, teaching, it's always what I want to do. So I'm actually doing it now, and whatever free time I have, I like to act.
Nice.
Not just acting, but I also like to write.
Nice.
I wrote a few projects.
Okay.
A few short stories.
Nice.
So whenever I have free time, I like to do that.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at right now. Pretty hectic, but it's fun. Keeps me busy.
So when you say short stories, is this like for a book or like for screenplay?
So both screenplays.
Okay.
The one I did was a 45-minute. Well, it's usually like a page a minute when you write.
Gotcha.
So I was looking to do a pilot episode for like a Netflix show.
Okay.
It's about a boxer, like a 20-year-old boxer whose parents are off the grid, drug problems, whatever. He's raising his 15-year-old sister in, streets of Philadelphia. So he's trying to, he's trying to use boxing to get himself out of the hood. Feel good drama.
Yeah.
So I finished that pilot episode. I wrote that, and then I wrote a short story based on me and my family, but not actually our story. I used us as characters.
Oh, cool.
But I wrote something called Addict, and it was about a college baseball player who was about a year away from graduating, going pro. Never, straight edged.
Yeah.
Didn't drink, didn't do drugs, and tore his arm up.
Yeah.
In preseason, had to get surgery, and the pain was too, it was excruciating. So he took the proper medication. Well, he got hooked.
Right.
Just like a lot of stories you hear,
sure.
and it just shows you the roller coaster of having everything at the palm of your hands, and then one little thing, happens, and you can't control it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're popping pills left and right. You're draining bank accounts. You're burning bridges.
Wow.
Never gonna know if you're gonna, if you could be that pro baseball player like you thought you were gonna be 6 months ago.
Wow.
So it just kind of shows a little roller coaster. But I used like my family members when I was writing it, because writing's hard. You're writing for multiple characters.
Yeah.
So how do you write for a 13-year-old girl and then transition to a 40-year-old guy, and then, back and forth? So I said, all right, let me just base it on the personalities of my family. So with my mom, I use my mom because she's like a saint, so I thought she would be great at that, because she would never want to see her kid go down that road.
Sure.
So, it bothered her, and writing's interesting, but it's also very frustrating.
Yeah.
When they say writer's block, they're not joking.
Yeah.
Like you can write for a week straight, and then you can go a month without. I can't think of a single idea.
Sure.
Right.
But there's no expiration dates on this type of stuff.
Yeah. That's for sure.
You get back to it when you have an idea. I think of the craziest ideas in the craziest places.
Yeah.
I'll just be doing something random. I'm like, oh man, that story I was writing, that scene would be great.
Yeah.
And then you start putting it together like a puzzle.
Awesome.
I like it. So is your creative process that same way, or do you sit down? Because I feel like a lot of it is forced when we get, the writer's block thing. It's because you're sitting down, you're like, I have to write something, I have to come up. There's a pressure, there's something, there might be an outside source making that pressure there for that person. I think a lot of the creativity comes naturally just throughout life. Does that happen for you, or?
Yeah. I find it much easier to not force it, and it'll just come.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't put like a time frame on my projects. It's more of a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to strike it big in Hollywood. I know a lot of times when you send a screenplay and it sits on a desk for 10 years.
Sure.
Right.
So like I'm a realist. I understand. I understand, but I enjoy doing it. It's free.
Right.
You know, it's soothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's relaxing, but no, I like it to come natural.
Okay.
I try not to force. If I can't think anything, I put it away, and then the minute I think of something else, I go back and I add it in there.
Yeah,
you know,
for
you're
sure.
right. The creativity, when you're not thinking about it, it just naturally flows.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so how did you go from, like, how did you know you were into either acting or writing or just being, you know, a part of that industry? Was it something that you always had a knack for? Was it something that just came to you in your adulthood? How'd that all work out?
So probably like my late teen years into my early 20s,
Yeah.
I had this feeling like I wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody gets that at some part of their life.
Sure.
But, you know, I watched a lot of reality TV, and I was a big Real World fan,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and The Challenge, you know,
Yeah.
loved it, right? So I think at 21, I think I did a video audition for The Real World.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like my first thing that I actually pursued.
Okay.
And it's funny because I was I was a supervisor at the Grundy ice skating rink.
Okay.
So I was in there late night,
Right.
and nobody else was in there. I
Right.
had to do the Zamboni, I had to clean the ice and all.
Yeah,
So I had
yeah.
my brother come in with a camera, my brother Jay, and so I got down to like my boxers,
Yeah.
just boxers and my Timbs,
Yeah.
and I was whipping around in the Zamboni, you know, and he's can't, you know, and then I pull up on him like real fast, and I hop out, and I do like my little bio.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
that was my first audition that I sent in. That was
That's
The Real
awesome.
World, and
Yeah.
then I never really wanted to put all my eggs in one basket, so I never really thought about acting to be like something 24/7.
Yeah.
I was like, it's something I can always mess around with. And then, you know, I would see little auditions come around. Big Brother.
Okay.
Audition for Big Brother. It was a terrible audition.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring you in 15 people at a time for 10 seconds. They ask you one question, and then you go. And it's like, man, I sat out there for 6 hours for that.
Wow.
You know, so
That's tough.
but the thing that got me the most excited, and this, I wouldn't even be here right now if luck was actually on my side.
Yeah.
So Jersey Shore was filming season 1.
Yeah.
And my family would always go down to Seaside, right?
Yeah.
So we see something going on. They're filming. They got it all blocked off, but they weren't advertising it yet. So you didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
So I pushed my sisters into the shore store that they worked. I said, get in there and go find out. Looks like they're letting girls in. I don't see any guys in there. Because I think it was like Ronnie and Paulie at the time were working in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, nobody knew who anybody was.
Right.
So we're just messing around, right? And then like around Christmas time, they start advertising. I'm like, yo, that's that show. I was like, we have to watch that. You know, that's Seaside. We're down there every year. I got family down there. And all, you know what I mean? So, so after season 1, I guess the expectations were low for the show, and they shattered ratings.
Yeah.
So the cast wanted more money.
Yeah.
Like anything else, you know. You see all these ratings, we want the money.
Right.
So they all went on strike. MTV said, you know, we don't want to pay them. Let's make it like The Real World, and we'll bring in a new cast of Guidos every year.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I see this thing pop up in an email. I must have joined some kind of free newsletter or something for acting, and I get this thing. And they wanted me to send in a, like a videotape audition. So I went up in my bedroom. I had my sister's husband, Ian, at the time. He filmed me for like 10 minutes. Just kind of like, I was just acting like the biggest Guido I can act, but not overboard. Still trying to be myself.
Right.
But you know what they want to see.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, so I send that in. And I get an email like a week later, the night before. It's like a Thursday night, and it says, can you be down at the Doubletree Hotel for a one-on-one interview tomorrow? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Called out of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got my clothes ready, and I go down to the Doubletree. Me, 2 other guys, and 3 girls. That's it, I guess, from the Philly area or whatever. So I'm like looking around. I'm like, all right, I got a shot here.
Yeah.
This guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Generic.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, all right, just be me.
Yeah.
So then they come down, they get everybody one-on-one, they bring them up, and then you get into this hotel room, and it's just like this. You know, sitting behind, in front of a screen. You got a girl asking you questions and a guy with the camera.
Right.
And I was trying to be funny. I was just trying to be natural.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm naturally a funny dude. I kind of am. So I had them rolling.
Yeah.
I had them rolling. And it was like a typical. Take off your shirt, flex for us.
Yeah.
Tell us about your tattoos,
Yeah.
this and that. But I had them rolling, man. And I left there like, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this.
Right.
Next thing I know, the original cast all signs back on.
Of course.
So I'm like, man, I was like, all right, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I'm going to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I'm scrolling on Facebook, and I see they need they need background extras for Creed.
Okay.
I was like, you know what, Stallone, Creed, maybe I'll get a chance to see him from 1,000 feet away.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah,
and I was never. This would only be my second movie. I did a movie. It was actually a local guy. He wrote 3 books back in 2011. He wrote the first screenplay. By 2013, we were filming. Oh, wow. It was my girlfriend's dad at the time, so he was going to put me in the movie regardless. Yeah. But I still had to audition. Yeah. So it was my very first audition.
Gotcha.
And it was nerve wracking. I don't know what to do. I didn't have any tips.
Yeah.
So I got a little small role. Yeah. And it was actually pretty cool. I had a couple lines, but the best thing about it was the end of my scene. I exited the scene. The main character walked in, and I turned around, and I had to lay him out. Yeah. They gave me like this piece of steel, a real weapon. Like it could take anybody out. Yeah. And they say, all right, you got to come up behind, and you got to swing and get as close to his face as possible. I said, dude, you guys know I'm a rookie, right? Yeah. I've never been on a set before in my life, dude. You guys want me
to swing at
this guy. Yeah. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. So I'm like, I have really good hand-eye coordination. I'm nervous and I'm shaking, so I go out my first take. I come back around. I pull it out, get about a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, from his face?
From his face, from behind. But the good thing was he said he felt it. He felt like the gust of wind or whatever coming. So on cue, he just dropped. Yeah. 3 times I had to do that.
Oh, wow.
After the 3rd time, I said, I'm done. There's no 4th. Because this next one's going to slip. Yeah. And he's going to be lumped up, and then we're going to have to, postpone production. So that was actually the first thing I acted in. Okay. And that's called A Rose on 9th Street. Okay. And we actually did some filming in Bristol. So it's pretty cool. And so then, so I get the Creed. And I'm like, all right, Creed. So I get there. And I was supposed to be one of like 300 general audience members. It was for the main fight scene at the end of the movie. Oh, wow. So you're in a building. It's green screened all the way around, but it's got probably like the first couple levels of audience, so they can make it real, and then CGI the rest of the audience in the top. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. Just a green screen, a ring, and everybody else. So I'm standing in line on my first day, and a lady comes up and says, "What's your availability?" I said, "I'm good for a week." Yeah. I took a week off of work. My boss was like, "Go do this." Once they heard I was going to be in Creed, they're like, "Oh my God, you got to do this." I said, "Okay, good." And you're getting paid. I got paid to do it, so it balanced out. 15-hour days on Creed, I'm sure. But you don't care. Yeah, they give you 2 meals a day. It's top-notch production company, so they took care of you. Long days, but man, fun. Yeah. So I'm standing in line. She asked me my vote. I said, "I'm good for a week." She said, "All right, come with me." She upgraded my role. So I went from a general audience member to one of 12 security guards. So I'm like, here we go. Okay, cool. Stand out a little bit. Yeah. So for the first 4 days, I was positioned probably like catty corner from Michael B. Jordan's corner with Stallone. So I could see everything going on, but I wasn't that close. Yeah. Maybe like 30, 40 feet. But it was fine.
Now, cool. hold on. Step back for a second, because Michael B. Jordan got absolutely jacked out his mind for this.
Is he
really?
I'll get there.
Okay. Because I'm like, this dude looks like a bodybuilder.
I'm glad you said that, because this is one of my main points of the story. Okay. So like I said, I never really had good luck. Okay, so here I am. So I got bumped up. So now I know I'm going to do it for 5 days. I'm like, all right, cool. This is great. 5 days worth, Monday through Friday. This is awesome. So my last day, 5th day, I guess the guy that was the security guard right behind Stallone and Jordan's corner, he didn't show up. They needed somebody that kind of fit his height, because they had him for all the other scenes. So they couldn't just fill a female in there for one round. Right. So they grabbed me. Yeah. I go over there, and I'm this close to Stallone from you. Wow. So now I'm like, oh man,
this
now I'm
really
starstruck. I was looking from back there in the rafters. It was like, I see him, but now I'm like, I see him. Right. I'm like, okay. So he comes like the first 2 minutes I'm standing in, you're not supposed to move, you're in dead character. So I'm right in the aisle. I'm in the main aisle. So I'm like, they gotta walk by me, So here comes Stallone coming back down to run to his trailer for something. And I look down, and he's like my height, and I said, that's not right. Yeah. I look down, he's got like 5-inch lifts on his Chuck Taylors to make him taller.
What?
But these are the things I heard about acting. Yeah. Why does Tom Cruise look like he's huge in every movie? Right. He's 5'3". Wow. So camera angles, of course, lifts on the shoe. Yeah. All right. So I spent on my last day there, I spent all 15 hours right in that corner. Every time they got done a scene, they would go back and look at the camera, and they're all like right next to me.
Yeah.
The girl that played Michael B. Jordan's girlfriend, Tessa Thompson, with the long braids, she was right next to me, sitting in the front row. So like every time they did a cool scene, they would replay it on the monitor behind us. And me and her be like leaning over each other, like looking, like laughing. Oh, that scene.
Yeah.
I don't even realize I'm over here with Tessa Thompson just hanging out.
Right, right.
You forget.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I'm here. I'm acting professional, so I'm doing it. So the end of the night rolls around. It's a wrap. Okay, cool. I'm kind of lazily, gingerly walking out of there because the night before I stuck around. And I watched them practice the choreography. So Michael B. Jordan spent 15 hours filming, and then once it was a wrap around midnight, he stayed to practice the choreography. Think about it.
Wow.
Think about it. They used a regular boxer against him. So you have to train that regular boxer to be an actor. And then you have to train Michael B. Jordan to be a professional fighter.
Right.
And you got to hope that they mix well. One bit,
Absolutely.
think about it, it's choreography, and they're swinging hard. They miss once. You knock somebody out, you might be done for a couple of days. You're bumped up. So I stayed the night before and I watched them do that, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
So that last night I was like, I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm staying. Here comes Stallone. He had a bodyguard with him. They all walked by. There was about 7 people left in the warehouse. Here comes Michael B. Jordan by himself, walking right at me because he's got to go to his trailer behind me.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm trying to be cool about this.
Yeah.
So he walks by, I give him a little pound handshake. Oh, Mike, you killed it, man. Rub me on the shoulder. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I'm like looking up.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude's humongous. This dude is humongous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like 5'10 and a half, 5'11 on a good day.
Yeah.
This dude is big and jacked. Jacked.
Yeah.
So the preparation, man, that goes into it,
That's unbelievable.
And I mean, happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
These guys were so laid back. Stallone, you would think, would be one of them cocky type guys, but when there was like a long pause in whatever they were setting up cameras, so he'd get in the ring and he would do like the hey, yo, Adrian. The original Rocky stuff, to keep the long days, man, just to keep us out in the crowd. Like, okay, we're hyped up, we're good, appreciate that. You got us, you know what I mean? So
awesome.
I left that 5th night driving home. I had the biggest smile on my face. I just met Michael B. Jordan. I just spent 15 hours in a corner with those guys. I listened to everything they were saying about the scenes.
Yeah.
I was picking brains.
Yeah.
I wasn't there just a fan. I was there studying.
Yeah.
I was studying.
What was your biggest lesson you think you learned there?
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they had to be hungry. They had to be tired.
Yeah.
But he stayed in perfect character. Never, it's easy to get frustrated and probably get lazy with the choreography, but he was so patient, with the directors and with the producers. A lot of downtime, man.
Yeah.
Tons of downtime when you're filming. And you're doing 15 hours worth, and you're coming out with maybe like a 6-minute scene.
Sure. Right.
So you're thinking all that editing and the camera views. Now you know why they do the same scene from 7 different angles.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching TV and you see it going back and forth, you don't realize how much editing that is. All right, let me take 2 seconds here. Let me take 2 seconds here and put it all together. So the editors don't get enough credit.
Sure.
I feel like. Because once I saw everything, the behind the scenes and what went into it, I said, man, editors, they stay behind the scenes. They don't get,
Because I think it was the Oscars or something recently, they sometimes they do stuff like over the commercials or whatever. And there was a controversy that I think they were relegating the awards for the editing to like the commercial or like the pre-thing break and there was a whole thing with that because of such of how much work goes into that.
And I agree.
How are you going to relegate that to something off screen where they need the accolades that they deserve?
Yeah, unless you sit there and watch the end of the movie, the credits, you don't even realize who did anything.
Yeah.
So you're like, man, these people should get more recognition.
Absolutely.
But everybody does their part and they all have fun with it, and and when you're on a big production set like that, you see it all gel together.
Yeah.
I've done student films, free student projects, where like it wasn't too organized, but it was fun and laid back, and then I did something professional. You couldn't even have your cell phone in there.
Wow.
If you pulled your cell phone out, they thought you were going to take pictures and send them like TMZ and stuff, because they'll kick you right out.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you're gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was there anything that you captured? I'm always fascinated with acting is their memory, and so when these guys, I'm sure they're in their trailers or wherever they are prior to any of this even going down, they're memorizing their lines, they're kind of going through it. Did you see any like hiccups or anything that happened in that sense? Or
oh yeah, there's tons of cuts.
Yeah.
There's tons of cuts. You know, that's why you're there for 15 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a 2-minute monologue and do great for 1:40 and then mess it up in the end and be like, man, all right, cut, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a ton. Like you'll see when somebody starts talking, the next person's supposed to jump in, they just forget, and they're like, oh man, I forgot my cue. I missed my cue. You know, but then they grab the sheet real quick and they get it. You know, and you could tell they just they get right back into it. You know, I mean, it's gonna happen. Like everything else. You know.
How do you get into a character? So you at that point you knew you're a security guard. Is that something that you have to think about, or for that particular role you're just kind of standing there? But do you try to train yourself or prepare for that? How does that work?
So any of the roles that I had lines, basically what you do is you read the whole story first because you want to figure out the emotion, the emotional part of it, because anyone can read a line, but it's the way you deliver it. So, and you don't know how it's delivered unless you know what else is going on with the other characters.
Context behind everything.
Exactly. So you get a script. It's not just about your lines, because you need to know what's coming, how to react. So what I like to do is I like to read over everything a couple times and try and picture in my head what's going on. I play it out in my head and I'm like, okay, I think he would react that way, that way, and then I would practice it that way. And if it didn't feel right, I would practice it another way. With the extra work like Creed, you don't prepare for it, but once they say action, you do your best. Like, I don't have any lines, but I don't want anybody seeing me turn around and watching the thing. So I know as a security guard, they're telling me just to look straight. You have to act like you're just watching your section, and that's what you do as a background. But you don't know, and as a background, you also don't know if you're going to get on. So you don't want to be caught up like, like scratching my head doing something stupid. So you kind of stay in there the whole way, even if you're not. I did an episode of Gotham. That was pretty cool. It was my only TV show that I did, mostly movies. But I did Gotham, and I got lucky again. It was a big funeral scene.
Wait, this guy first started off said I have bad luck.
That's what I'm saying. That was what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. I was like, I can't believe this luck is going my way because I've always had bad luck. But I guess when it came to these roles, so once again, big church scene. 200, 250 people in there. You could be row 1, you could be row 20. Right? I got picked to be, it was Don Falcone's funeral. I got picked to be one of his, his henchmen. But I also, I was right there in the front. So I was like, dressed differently than everybody else. I'm like, man, here I go again. I'm right in the front. So at any given moment, I knew I could be on TV, with the angle. So you're constantly always like trying, all right, I'm at a funeral. How would I be at a funeral?
Right.
You don't want to be caught talking to somebody, so you do. You try your best, and you do get into the role play. And whether you have a line or not, you're there. You got a job to do. You want to make it as authentic as possible, so you do it.
So I know with the movie scene, the acting scene, there's a lot of preferences that go in into what you want to be a part of when it comes to the projects. Is there anything that you wouldn't be a part of, or is there something specifically that you are looking for, or right now you're just trying to take whatever you can get?
Well, right now I'll take whatever I can get. However, the roles that really intrigue me are obviously like mobsters, gangsters,
fun,
big De Niro, Pacino fan, all the old ones, Goodfellas and all. So I've actually, I've been in, 2 movies where I was a gangster. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. And but no, I think when you're coming up, I think it's actually important to do a variety.
Okay.
Because you're showing your range.
Right.
So when you do go and apply for something big and they want your reel, it's not all the same character.
Right.
Not typecasted.
Right. You don't want to be typecasted, because there are some actors that you see do the same roles over and over, and you're like, man, could he do anything else? But you don't know. I don't ever want to be that way. Because tell you the truth, I think where I would flourish the most is in like a chick flick.
Okay.
A romance, funny type guy. Come off like the family type guy. Maybe be a little loose cannon at first and slow down, because I already have a story in my head that I want to start writing about that.
Right. It happened with, I don't know how people received it. But it happened with Kevin Hart, where obviously he's a comedian and everything. It's like, I can't really see this guy any other way. And the thing with him, he became so famous, or he is so famous. I guess there's like a level where I don't know if you have to be funny or him being serious is funny now. So he had, I forget what the story is or what the latest movie is, where he's pushing a guy around in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You remember what that movie called?
The one with Bryan Cranston, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget the name of that movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think he's like the guy's caretaker.
Yes.
And there's a lot of seriousness that comes with this role.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, I haven't watched the movie, obviously, but I don't even know how I would perceive that, because I just want to see him as being
But
funny.
I think we mentioned this
You
before,
can't
but
take
it
him
was
serious.
but it was that like when they first I started advertising the movie, it was advertised more dramatically. But then as it got closer
Right.
to release, they kind of changed it to almost like a buddy movie.
Yes.
Like him in there that kind of have like more I forget what's called, more low key as opposed to not as highly dramatic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like there are comedians who try to be dramatic and it like doesn't work out. So I guess they kind of changed the advertising behind it.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with like Will Ferrell, where Saturday Night Live, this
Yeah.
whole thing where that's who you expect
Right.
you're going to get. That's kind of all his roles.
Yeah,
or
pretty
Adam
much.
Sandler.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's tough. So it's like, do you accept certain roles and you know, like that whole, like the whole gangster and mobster stuff.
Yeah.
I have this like this weird obsession with it. Even last night, just watching random documentaries or just listening to the thing, listening to other podcasts that have to do with this. I have a whole library of books and movies of, you know, all the classics. And I don't see myself ever entering into that domain. But if I ever did, I would love to do something like that, because you already have appreciation for that art or just the background, the history.
No, you're right. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to see what it's all about.
And you, for example, you said you obviously played sports and stuff. Would you do anything with like baseball or anything like that?
Yeah,
That'd be
I would
cool,
love
right?
it. Moneyball is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
People don't realize Chris Pratt is in Moneyball.
Yeah.
You know, before he blew up.
Yeah.
But I love Brad Pitt too.
Okay.
But Moneyball, any of the football movies, I would love to be in a sports movie.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't even play hockey. I'd be in a hockey movie.
Yeah.
Because sports movies are great.
Right.
You
You know how to ride the Zamboni.
I can ride the Zamboni. See, there you go. I could be in a sports movie. I'll be the guy riding the Zamboni in the middle of the period. But listen, I'm on there, you know. So
That's awesome.
But you're right though. It's there's roles that I want to do, but I also know that I want to get my range out there. And the person I look to with something like that is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Yeah.
He's at the point in his career he could do anything.
Absolutely.
Sure.
He's done dramas, romances, action, and he's great at everything he does.
Yeah, he really
you know,
is.
so I think it's just a matter of how bad you want it.
Yeah,
You know.
So following script is one thing, right? Writing a script is another thing. Improv is a whole other beast. Now, there's people who are naturally talented. We just mentioned a couple comedians, and they're very well versed in improv. They're just, you know, sometimes you're gonna have a heckler, and you have to roll with, you know, that kind of thing. There's a classic show, Whose Line Is It Anyway, that demonstrate this to the T. And we actually saw Wayne Brady. We saw Wayne Brady live here at actually the Parks Casino, and he did multiple things. We didn't even know what to expect. I actually bought the tickets thinking it was going to be a stand-up. And what it is, he's doing improv. It's part stand-up, part improv. And it was absolutely impressive. And he genuinely made a point to show that I guess they got a lot of critics saying that their improv is not real improv. It's actually
Like scripted.
planned. Yeah, it's scripted. It's planned out prior. And he did a lot of stuff that there was no way he could have planned for this. Right. And it was, I mean, I'm not going to say breathtaking, but it was like you're blown away at the talent.
Oh yeah.
Is
You appreciate
improv?
it.
Yeah, because it was like,
definitely.
dude,
There's definitely a skill that goes
there's
behind
so much creativity.
It's like rappers when they're freestyling and then they throw a word.
Yeah.
You got a guy that throws words and then he's got to freestyle about that word and then they throw another word and it's like, man, how are you coming up with it that fast? So improv, I advise everyone who wants to be in the acting, take an improv class.
Yeah.
Because improv is huge.
Yeah.
Even if you're not improvising the whole time.
Right.
Basically, when you get a script, they don't necessarily want you to stick by that script 100%.
Sure.
You know, I was going over something. I did this awesome thing. I had my first voiceover, my only voiceover. I was a narrator.
Okay.
So there was a story going on, and I was the one talking in the background. And when I first got it, and I'm doing the first couple takes, I'm like, I said to the guy, I said, guys, that's not me. I can't. It doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
Can I throw a couple words in here and there?
Yeah.
I threw a word or two in there that I can't say right now.
Yeah.
I watched from the, through the glass. These guys were rolling because it just came off especially with the project we were doing, it came off more believable.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that sounds like me now.
Exactly.
You know, so I've had a little bit of experience with that.
Yeah.
Not full improv, but changing things here and there, adding a word, taking out a word, and putting my own spin on it.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yes.
Hard.
Yeah.
But when you do get something funny and you know what I mean, people appreciate it, you're like, that was me.
Yeah.
I did that.
Right,
you know?
right. So we had a couple artists on here, whether they're, musicians, even the creativity coming out of just sales. We had Joe Snyman talking about he had to get creative with selling. Now, the thing that I always find interesting, we actually had a guy here who's a director, and he was talking about, and I was actually asking a question about sharing your art or sharing your skill. For you, it would be acting, and then getting, critiqued, and how hard that possibly could be because of the vulnerability. And he said a really cool statement. He says that's when it becomes art. Because when you just keep it to yourself, no one even knows what it is. It might be, quote, art to you or to yourself, but the criticism is a part of the, the roles or the acting or the artwork or whatever.
It's a part of life.
Exactly.
It's part of life.
How do you, what's your perspective on that?
You're always going to get it.
Yeah.
Whether that person that's criticizing you actually believes the words that are coming out of their mouth or whether they're just hating on you.
Yeah.
I bet you there's people that see your post and like, Jimmylee with this podcast, here he goes. He's not going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
But who cares what they think?
Absolutely.
You having fun with it?
Absolutely.
You enjoying it?
Absolutely.
You're doing something you wanted to do, right?
Heck yeah.
I don't care about being criticized because you know what it takes to get up there?
Yeah.
And study lines and getting there in front of a camera and you can get 50 takes if you need it, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Right.
You want to nail it, you know?
And sure.
It's funny you brought up the critiquing because I was so I'll plug my
for sure.
So I was in a movie called Backfire. We filmed it in 2017.
Okay.
2018 it wasn't really out yet. 2019 Netflix called.
No way.
So it's on Netflix.
No way.
It's been on Netflix since April. It's called Backfire. Check it out if you haven't already. It's like a gangster movie based in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Awesome though, low budget type, but these guys they put their heart and soul into it.
For sure.
And the main guy's he's a rapper, Black De Niro. You go on YouTube, he's all over the place. He's put out a couple movies, but he's got some videos on there, and the dude's creative, really cool guys. And just like totally different than the Creed set. Because it's just like 7 guys there when you're filming your scene. So just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was Googling, and I wanted to see if there were any reviews on Backfire. I'm like, I gotta see what people think. And this one guy gave it a 1.5 out of 5. And I'm like, let me hear what he says. And he's ripping into like how like the dialogue was terrible. Blah, 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 blah. And then he says, and then you got this guy saying, walks into a pizza place and says, do you like pizza? And then the girl says, I like pizza. And the guy says, why don't you let me get a slice of that pie? And this was me. These are my lines. And I'm reading it. And I'm like, this dude's bashing us. And they were my lines. Like, I'm getting bashed. But I laughed about it. You think I care about what that guy says? You know what I mean? I have a student in Bristol that, once my students found out, they were all watching. They were going home. Awesome. They were having movie night with their parents, coming in and telling me, Mr. Angelo, oh my God, that was great. I had one kid, senior year in the yearbook, you get a quote. He took one of my lines.
Wow.
And he put it in as quote, and it says Michael Angelo. And
awesome.
It was my last line, and it said to the girl, baby girl, I got all the sauce you can dream of. It was all played out on pizza because I was, we're in a pizza shop. She was setting me up. I mean, I'll save it for, you guys can watch it. But I was in that movie, 2 different scenes. I had lines in the second scene. Fun though, man, just fun making it. Fun watching it put together, fun seeing it on Netflix, fun seeing people that I know. I've had people text me from like high school, dude, I was watching this movie and I didn't know you acted. And I'm looking and I'm like, is that Mick? Dude, that's Mick. And he texts me, I'm like, that's me, brother, that's me.
So people can say they have a movie on Netflix.
I have 10 projects. I have 10 projects under my belt. 2 of them I wrote. One was as the narrator, and then the rest were acting. 1 lead role. I did like a 6-minute film for Rowan, their student film. It was free, no pay, but I was a lead. So I got 6 minutes worth of just me being on there, So 10 projects under my belt. I started in 2013. So 6 years, 10 projects with limited time.
Yeah.
You know, so my plan is once I get a 9-to-5 teaching job, I'm going to dedicate my summers to acting.
Nice.
You know, and like I said, there's no expiration date.
Yeah.
You know, as you get older, you just choose different roles to fit your age, and you know, so I mean, it's anyone can do it. It's you know, so that's my life. That's my future.
Nice.
Is it only like kind of cinematic, or have you ever done like stage plays or stage like acting or anything like that?
I haven't done. I would though. But the problem with doing plays is it's the practices and rehearsals. It's so demanding.
Sure.
You know, you might have
do it for like months at a time.
You do a month, and then you're on the road, and then you're traveling. So that'd be something I could do in the summertime, but I couldn't really get into plays.
What
like
about
stage work.
anything locally or anything like that?
That's mostly what I do is local. Yeah, it's mostly Philadelphia.
Okay.
You know, I join I have 2 websites that I pay for a month that give out all the casting information.
Oh, nice.
And then what you do is you set up a bio, and then you apply to any gigs you like. And if they'll look at your bio and your work, and if they think you might be good for that role, they'll send you a couple lines. Most of the time, it's a video audition. They want you to audition at home. Some of them, they'll invite you back for an audition. So that's basically like how that process works with me. So I try and find like local weekend work, or one day here, one day there that pays, so I can call out of work but still get paid.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. I'm constantly grinding. I'm always on there. I'm always looking to see what's out there. But this area is tough. There's not a ton.
Sure. Yeah.
If you were in New York or obviously California and Atlanta now, Atlanta's doing a ton.
Really?
They do all the Walking Dead. They do all the Marvel movies down there.
Wow.
So much land down there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they're doing a lot of work in Atlanta. So, but summertime rolls around. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I'd be willing to travel and willing to go anywhere for a role. So,
what you talked a little bit about obviously someone giving you critique and ranking or rating the video or the movie and the project. Do you do that to yourself when you see yourself on the screen? Is it weird, or is it just like, oh man, I could have did that better, or has that work? Because I know obviously we bring it up all the time, but I think it's a perfect example because every time we have a critique thing. I think about my brother, about him giving people haircuts, and he always talks about someone's haircut, not in a negative way, but he's generating ideas like, oh dang, I could have probably did that better. Is that something you do, or you run thoughts through your mind?
100%. I'm my worst critic
for sure.
I heard big time actors. Mark Wahlberg's one of them. They don't even watch their movies, because they're fearful of that.
Yeah.
Critiquing yourself so bad that your confidence is shot down.
Sure.
Because everything you do in life, you could say, if I had a retake, I can do that better.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So of course, when I'm watching Backfire, and it happened to be my first red carpet too.
Okay.
So like this was legit.
Yeah.
This Backfire. Awesome. This was cool. I took my mom. My first red carpet. I figured I gotta take my mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm single and all, so most important female in my life. So I took my mom. We had a good time, and and she even said it was weird. It was weird to see you on camera. Like, here's my son, and he's flirting with this girl in this movie and kicking lines and spitting game. And here I am thinking, damn, I could have did that better.
Sure.
I probably should have did this.
Right.
So 100%, man. You're your worst critic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny too, because I didn't even think of this. I have a project out that is in the motivation personal development industry, and I don't listen to it at all. Yeah. Actually, I hit like next because it's on like my playlist on music, and I almost panic when it comes on because it just is like on automatic. I don't know what it is because I will destroy myself.
Right.
And what the funny part is, I let him do all the thing. What do you think that sounds like? Months on end editing, and I'm like, we just have to put it out there, and that's how we were with the podcast. We're so hypercritical of ourselves. I'm like, and that cripples people. Some people won't even do the project. People won't even release it. There's just a new bit that I've been doing that I wanted to start doing is called snack size positive vibes, where it's just giving 30-second increments of just a quote and just giving people positive self-help information. Well, I've been wanting to do that for 6 months, and then I kept just critiquing myself, like, it's like overload. Why would you do that? And what angle are you going to get? When are you going to do this anyway? Are you going to do it in a car? Someone's going to say something about you driving and shooting, and they're going to talk about, like, dude, he had that outfit in, like, something. I'm like, dude, just do it. So then the one day I just started recording, just went, and you have to sometimes because we rip ourselves apart.
Yeah. And and I think people just find excuses not to do things.
Yeah.
Because it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. And with the stuff like my writing and all, I may never be rewarded for that time and effort I put in. But as long as it's a hobby for mine. So as long as I enjoy doing it, then who cares?
Yeah.
I can have them stacked up, all day long. It doesn't matter. I did that. I did that for fun. I did it as a hobby.
Do you bounce that stuff off anyone? Do you like send it to somebody, just like a buddy or something?
Yeah. Well, Mario, my best friend Mario, he got me into going to the movies, man. Like he used to go like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
So he got me going.
Yeah.
Right. So what we do is we'll go to a movie and we'll talk about. We'll watch a trailer and then we go in and then we critique it.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm in there studying.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize as an actor, like you could just study other people.
Right.
Instead of standing up there and practicing and getting people to read lines, you're like, I'm just gonna watch how he does that scene.
Yeah.
So Mario got me into the movies and also so we do that, man. We critique it and so whenever I'm writing something, I reach out to him.
Yeah.
Because he's seen so many movies, he knows what I like.
Yeah.
I know what he likes. I'll say, look, man, I got this idea, blah blah blah. What do you think? I like that, but maybe you can go with this angle. You know what? Yeah, I like that better.
Okay.
I might not always agree.
Sure.
But I'll ask my brother. Like my family's tight, man.
Yeah.
So we don't care about we don't put each other down.
Yeah.
They actually think it's great. Like, I don't think I give myself enough credit for what I've done because I'm like, there are little films here and there. People might never see my work.
Right.
But then they're looking back. They're like, dude, you've been in 8 movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. You have a movie on Backfire. Yeah, but I was only in it for 2 minutes. Yeah, but dude, nobody else was. Like,
Exactly.
So no, I ask. I get a bunch of opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you use, just switching gears a little bit, how do you use social media to market yourself? Is that something you use or no? Or is that just you use that to promote your projects? Because I know you said you have memberships, subscriptions to 2 websites that kind of push you, information in that direction. Or is it something that you're like, you use social media in that sense or no?
Not so much as far as I just like to show people what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting anybody to be out there that's like, oh man, I have a buddy in Hollywood. I'm going to send him mixed video that he just posted.
Sure.
But you never do. You never know.
Right.
So, the right person sees something. But I do it more because I'm proud.
Yeah.
You get proud of the work you do, and you're
100%.
like, man, this was fun.
Yeah.
Let me put it out there. Let me see, get some laughs and see what people say. Plus, it makes you feel good.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Compliments and stuff like that. That just boosts your confidence.
Absolutely.
It's like working out. When you're trying to lose weight and you get frustrated. I ain't losing no weight, and then that first person says, "Oh man, you lost weight." So once you hear that from other people, it starts to excite you.
Yeah.
So I hear one person say, "I saw Backfire," and then another person, and I'm like, you know what? I need to be in more.
Yeah.
I need to get out there and do more films now because people are excited about seeing me out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm good.
Yeah.
Do you really know if you're good
Right,
as an
absolutely.
actor?
Right.
How do you really know if you're good?
Exactly.
So I just do it and I put it out there and people enjoy watching it and seeing it and it helps.
So what's your favorite part about acting, and what is something you want people to know that people like us who aren't actors is just kind of like an inside look how
what's funny when you say people like us aren't actors?
Yeah.
You got kids, right?
Yeah.
You got a kid, right?
Yeah.
No kids, right? How many times you role play with your kids?
Every day.
You're acting.
Every day. Yeah.
You don't think in your head you get into that? Okay, I'm going to be Spider-Man. What was Spider?
Yeah.
We all act.
100%.
We act when we lie.
Yeah.
Everybody acts.
Sure.
Absolutely. It's
You know
true.
what I mean? So,
Professional liars, right?
professional liars. Some
Right.
are better than others.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So I always look at it like this, man. You see way too many people get used to their everyday life.
Sure.
It becomes so repetitious. You're just
Yeah.
like, all right, tomorrow I got to get up and do this again. When you act, you're something different.
Yeah.
You're different, and you forget about the real world. You forget about everything, and then you just get into this character.
Right.
So for 5 hours, 10 hours, however long you're on set, you're a different person. You got a different life, and you act it the way you would act that life.
Yeah.
So it takes you away from reality.
Yeah.
And you forget what's going on.
Yeah.
And for a couple minutes you're excited because you're something else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
smallest role, biggest role.
Yeah.
You're there you know, all you're thinking about is dominating that role.
Yeah.
You're forgetting about everything else.
Yeah.
So it takes you away.
Yeah.
You know, to a good place.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know?
Yeah, they say a lot about that with gaming, and the reason why it is one of the the biggest selling things is because they have control over this little character in front of the screen. They can manipulate it to everything they want it to do, or whatever that is, and it kind of, like you said, it kind of escapes that that reality.
You do.
That is cool though, and especially kind of someone growing up watching mobster or gangster movies, and then you become one of them. And then you're like, you're like playing all this, like, dude, is this really happening?
Yes.
Like, even from the movies or to like the real life documentaries.
Yeah.
When you fall into that role, it's like, dude, this got to be one of the most badass things I think I've ever did.
And then you're thinking, I'm just doing it as an actor. These guys lived their life.
It's like, who's this guy's
I don't even
life?
have to look over my shoulder right now. These guys,
Right.
they thought about getting whacked every day.
Right.
Here, I know exactly what's going to happen to me.
Right.
So then you start to think, man, like, imagine if this was my real life. Like, man, this is crazy.
That's trippy too. Have you ever seen or know anybody, or maybe it happened to yourself, where you're so into the role it almost carries over into your actual life? They said this about, I forget.
Heath Ledger.
Okay, yeah, that's what. Yeah, he was one of them.
Jared Leto, when he did Jared Leto, right?
Yeah.
He did the Joker.
Yes.
He got really weird.
But I think he's always been method. Like he
Okay,
always
so
gets
he's a
super
method.
deep
Yeah,
into,
so they call it method acting, and they do, and they say Heath Ledger, it messed him up.
Yeah.
Because think about trying to be somebody like the Joker, where it's already an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make it better than Jack did.
Right.
So you kind of have to go all day long in that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's even like with there's roles that Will Smith played where he had to gain a ton of weight, and
or people that lose weight. Christian
Bale's one of them.
50 Cent did one where he had cancer as a football player. He got super
skinny.
Like
you're
like, dude, is that
scary.
Photoshop? Yeah. But there are people that are willing to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
To bring it's all about being authentic.
Sure.
That's how I say it. Like, it's all about authenticity, man. If you can make that believable,
dude,
then you're game.
There's times where I watch like gangster movies. I walked around like the toughest thing in my house. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I
gotta use the bathroom. This is gonna be the meanest bathroom thing.
When me and my brother, when we were growing up, we're 4 years apart, we would watch Steven Seagal and Van Damme movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't think we're jumping off the sofa doing spinning heel kicks? We used to watch wrestling on Saturday mornings.
It's classic.
We used to take a pillowcase,
Yeah.
put our cat in a pillowcase, and somebody was Jake the Snake Roberts. And they'd slide the pillowcase, and the cat comes running up the steps. But all role playing.
Yeah.
It's you were Jake, and in our head, you're 8 years old now. I'm Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
I gotta be Jake the Snake Roberts. Like, I'm gonna do it the way Jake does it. And it's like we've all acted.
Sure. Even like little kids, we play like action figures and stuff. You have a little role. You have
like you'll see like 3, 4, 5-year-old kids where they all day long they're in like their Captain America suit.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love when people put pictures. Oh, he dressed himself today, and I'm like, man, I love that.
Yeah.
He dressed himself. That was cool. He wanted to
Yeah.
be Captain America today, and in his head, he was Captain America.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
it's the imagination is crazy.
That's awesome. All right, so closing this bad boy out, what do you think? Is there something in your childhood that played a role to your current success with, and where you want to go with all this, or is it did you see somebody pursuing their dreams or even outside of acting?
Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to, like most kids, I wanted to be a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
But I was pretty good. So I mean, that dream didn't really subside until I was early teens, when I realized how hard it was going to be, so I think I kind of always had that mentality that I was going to succeed at something.
Yeah.
But I never thought about acting.
Sure.
Until I did that first audition for Real World, and then it was just kind of like, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
But I always had, I've had that mind frame where like, all right, if I'm going to do this though, like I'm not just going to quit after, the first thing I do, because I can't tell you how many auditions I applied for.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds, and you don't even hear, you don't even get a sniff, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's going to be 100 more, so I was patient enough to just kind of roll the dice and go with it. And I got lucky on some projects, and it's, I was just telling him, it's like fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
The more you do,
like
just sitting here right now doing this is fun.
Yeah.
I hope to be here next year talking about my next 4 or 5 projects. And something bigger.
Definitely.
So it's it does motivate you. But no, I think I just always had that that I just wanted to be successful, and so I wanted to be famous. Let's say not successful. I always wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what route I was going to take.
Yeah.
So I got into acting. I really liked it. Not saying I'm famous, but it's something that can lead to fame. That's not 100%. Why I do it. Yeah. But I just always felt like I could do it.
100%.
So I'm trying.
And you know what's crazy too? I just got the chills. I don't know why, but it has to do with what I'm about to say. All it takes is that one role, and you can just blow up. And it's funny that you keep saying Real World, because was it Miz on the Real World?
Miz, and look where he is.
So he was always messing around on the Real World. So he's on this show messing around with this whole wrestling thing, and he's always got into this character, the Miz. And then he became an actual professional wrestler to the point where I don't even know what I was watching. Oh, he has his own reality TV show. So he's like, I'm like, this is crazy.
Look where
it just builds on
Started
top
off with a reality show.
A little audition that he probably shot in his boxer shorts on a Zamboni.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They happened to see him that day, and they were excited. Maybe I didn't get viewed. You don't know that, but it shouldn't stop you. But look what can happen.
Yeah.
And I do this every time I'm on IMDb a lot. I like to see what actors, how they started.
Yeah.
Almost every actor, when you go on there and you go all the way to the beginning, it was either like one episode of a TV show and then a small role in a movie. Not many guys go right into a big blockbuster.
Sure. 100%.
You know, so like that's motivation too. You're like, oh, all right. I wonder how many people had 10 projects under their belt in their first 6 years. So I'm like, all right, my projects might not have been great, but I'm getting work. You know, so somebody's got to see something in me.
100%. Even like what we first mentioned, even with the Jersey Shore, that you just auditioning for that. It's like, dude, they're literally videoing us like on a boardwalk in New Jersey, one of the smallest states, right? Yeah. And a very particular thing, because they're going for the Italian American role, like that background. Yep. It's a very specific thing. Like in back of anyone's mind, like, is this even going to be anything?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they still went for it. And a T-shirt shop was their job, like a printing. Printing press T-shirts. And here, this guy, Paulie D is one of my favorite examples.
He's
like
great.
He milked it to and he still is.
Well, they have another season.
Yeah,
Jersey Shore. It's on tonight.
They
they got the situations up. He's about to get locked up. Well, he's locked up in now, but the show's showing you that. But it's like, they're still making money doing shows. Like, what could have been? You know
what kills me too? I love this. It goes back to what you're saying. I never forget Snooki pulling up in like some broke down hoopty Honda Civic, and it broke down. And the next episode, they all had like caddies and BMWs. Dude, it was the funniest thing.
They take care of it. They make it look as real as possible. But thing about Jersey Shore is, they were just being themselves. Yeah. That was the best thing about it.
The thing I even remember it blowing up is when, like, I think there was like a clip of Snooki, like, and they were in a club or something. She got knocked out by some random dude. That's how like it blew up. It got nationwide. And
that was like first season, maybe third episode in. They went out. She got smacked by some dude, and they all jumped on him. And what's funny? I always tell myself, like, if that was me, I'd have went nuts on that dude, because like I found out like some background. Whenever they went to a club or a bar, they signed waivers where if they got in a fight inside the establishment, they couldn't get charges.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's kind of how they got the drama effect. Yeah. I mean,
that's awesome. So kind of rounding things back, I know you talked a little bit about it, but as entrepreneurs, as going out there and building your own brand, there's a lot that you have to do for the launching pad, meaning you're supporting yourself, you have a day job, and then you're doing your little side projects, in your quote spare time. Right. I mean, who really has spare time? You have to make that time. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think that, a lot of times we're just doing this, this is, they're just having fun. We are having fun, but there's also work involved with this, right? All of us have families. We're, cutting out time. We're very meticulous and particular. I don't want to waste anybody's time. The second you walked in, dude, as soon as and I'm already in. I don't like wasting people's time. I don't like my time wasted, so I don't like wasting anyone else's time. How do you manage that? Give a tip or two for someone who's juggling and struggling with that.
I tell everybody, shoot your shot. You know what I mean? Like you might think, oh, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, but you don't think I was tired 15 hours on a set, standing there being a security guard.
Yeah.
Barely getting any sit-down breaks. Yeah, got 2 meals. Yeah. And then driving home, getting a couple hours of sleep, driving back down 95 because this is all the way in Chester. You know, so your commute, you add your commute to it. But if you truly enjoy what you're doing, I think you're going to find the time.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be frustrated about it, being tired.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, you're doing something you really want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's really what life's about, I think.
That's awesome. They always say you're going to either find the time, find a way, or find an excuse.
Well, and everybody finds an excuse. It's so much easier to find an excuse 100%. Than to actually put the work out. It's like gaining weight. 100%. You know how easy it is to gain weight 100%. And then how hard it is to lose it?
100%.
Come on, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
and what's hardest, I was thinking about this throughout the week, almost because of what happened in our situation with the podcast. Typically we record on Monday nights. A time like that where literally it's a natural, it's something that's not preventable. Yeah, I mean, you just uncontrollable. Our power literally got knocked out for an entire day, and I'm just trying to manage just through life, let alone doing extra things. The point I want to make is it was at a time where everyone would give me the green flag or us the okay, like, you could skip a week. We understand there's something that you couldn't, it's an uncontrollable. But it's at those times where everyone will give you that excuse. If that one time I could have ever used an excuse, it'd be perfect right now. Like, we couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Everyone like,
on to the next week.
Right. But we didn't. And it was times like that where you capitalize on that and show and lead by example. Listen, this is set for Monday nights. It's never worked every single week perfect. We did have a nice little streak going, but when Mother Nature calls, it is what it is, kind of thing. But it's how you react off those. Absolutely. I think that makes the biggest difference between the people who succeed or the winners versus the people who do not succeed and are all miserable and hell bent about everything.
You're right.
Swallowing their own excuses.
It's also a good opportunity to test yourself.
Yeah.
If you could have told yourself, I will take the week off.
Right.
That shows you how passionate you really are. Are you about the project?
Right. Sure.
But getting that week, not skipping that week, and accomplishing that goal.
100%.
It's you're gonna go home tonight. Probably, you're happy we got it done. Because I'm happy I was off and I had the free time, and I could say, Monday didn't work, I'll come back Thursday. Yeah. Because now that it's over, I was nervous in the beginning. I think everybody, but now it's almost over. You're like, oh man, I'm so glad I did this. This was fun.
Driving home all elated.
And now I'm gonna go. I was telling these guys when you're taking a break. I said I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna grind harder. Yeah. Now absolutely. I got the confidence because I was talking about it. And you're getting feedback from other people, and you're like, it's time to hit the. Yeah.
100%.
So I'm gonna get on there. I'm just. Apply.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, really.
So closing question for anyone out there also wanting to get started in the acting industry or is looking this as a career or a possibility for themselves. What do you recommend? Is there websites they should jump on, or how should they get started?
So the one I use is backstage.com, and that's how I got the Backfire role. Okay. And I got the majority of my roles on there. So Backstage, I think it's $15 a month or something.
Nice.
And every day there's new projects on there.
Wow.
So, and they have dates on there, and they tell you if you make money, if you're not, if it's unpaid. So you can kind of look and navigate through and say, all right, I'm available for that. I'll just apply.
Yeah.
But the thing about, I guess, I don't really have much going on, but starting, from the bottom, you're gonna have to do some non-paying roles,
100%,
just to get yourself out there to get some footage. I mean, 3/4 of the stuff, probably half of the stuff I did, I didn't get paid for. Yeah, but I'm okay with it because I have that to show. Sure. When I go and audition for other things. So don't get discouraged about money. Yeah. Don't get discouraged about not hearing back. Yeah. Because if you get discouraged about, I applied for that one role and I didn't get it, I'm done, I'm never going to be an actor, then you weren't built for that. You weren't built for it. Yeah. There's famous actors that still have to, you'll hear, they still have to actually go and audition for certain roles, even though that the director's like, I want him. They still have to kind of show up and see if it really fits the mold. Absolutely.
Denzel Washington still goes to acting classes.
Because he's so passionate about his craft and he feels like there's always something to work on.
Right.
I'll never the best.
Right.
You know, there's always somebody better. So just be patient and don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
And start small, because those little roles that I've done, I've learned a lot from them, because you can ask more questions.
Yeah.
You know, you could talk to the people that are behind the camera and saying, you know, just trying to pick their brain.
Yeah.
You get on the bigger sets, you're kind of just a number.
Yeah.
You can't really talk to nobody. There's not much networking.
Right.
You know, like I met a kid, and then that kid wrote a short film, and he put me in his short film.
Oh,
so
nice.
like, just from meeting him from a different project, he put me in his next project.
Nice.
So the networking definitely helps. But just be patient, man, and just, you know, don't get discouraged. That's all.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it, folks. We like to wrap things up with quotes, and the first one is by Tony Robbins, and he goes, "The path to success is to take massive, determined action." And the second one is by Napoleon Hill. "Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure." Acting 101. In this episode, we had special guest Michael Angelo. We covered topics that range from auditions, landing roles, improv, role preparation, and much more. We wrapped the episode up with quotes from Napoleon Hill and Tony Robbins. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.